Hey trader. All right, so let's take a look at some examples of the Asia model. Actually, so we're starting off with the rules, looking at 8 to 10 AUD JPY, and we're using that time because that's when these two markets open, and the Asia kill zone is between 8 and 10. So 8 and midnight fully, but we're going to use 8 and 10 as our time frame. So steps of the model will include marking out the anchors. So let's try and simplify this a bit. We've got our midnight open. We've got the 7 p.m. So this is the Sunday Asia kill zone. Previous to 7 p.m., we've got Friday's 1 p.m. and 8 a.m. And between each one of those session times, we're looking to mark out the high and the low. So buy side, sell side, and then intermediary buy side and sell side here. So during the kill zone, we see a drop down, staying within the external range, but breaking internal. So looking in at this, we would have a breaker. Highest up close in these mixed candles. That would be the entry. Stop below the low. And we're targeting buy side. Partials off at several levels. In this case, price does not get to the previous session's high. Partials would save the day, stop to break even, and you'd have to close up by 2, and it would already hit to break even by 2. So reasonable move out. Several buy side targets hit. That's it for this example. Let's do it again. Okay, example 2. So here we go. We'd have 8 a.m., 1 p.m., 7, and then the kill zone. Buy side liquidity, sell side as external. Buy side, sell side as internal. Price shifts down or sweeps down, doesn't break external. In the kill zone, we see a retracement. We're going to go down to this doesn't jump around on me, going to go down to the 1 minute. So within the kill zone, we see price come back to this mitigation. We also have a fair value gap and a balanced price range here. And this fair value gap here as well. We also have optimal trade entry. Including the 70.5 here. So 3 potential entries, either on the mitigation, stops below the low, OTE, 70.5, fair value gap, BPR. Targets would be previous buy side, and a little bit more. Okay, let's do it again. Okay, another example, Asia model. So here we have our Asian kill zone, 8 to 10. We have our markers from 7, 1, and 8. Sell side, buy side in each respective session. We see external liquidity taken, a shift back into the range. Now we're watching to see if we have a market structure shift up or down. At this point, we're breaking back below the range. So we would either look at inversion on this fair value gap or a new fair value gap being created here. Where did price go? Oh, there it is. So inversion or tag on the newly created fair value gap. Forex rules in terms of pip and spread. and nice healthy move down to, surprisingly, Sunday's sell side. Partials taken at previous lows and close up shop at 2, which would look like that. So that was the ultimate target, and depending on how you control your break even, but another good move. Let's do it again. Okay, let's do another Asia model review. So set out our kill zone 8 to 10, session time 7, 1, and 8, buy side, sell side of each respective one. At Asia, we see price breaks below in a downward move, but then we see a market structure shift, 3 consecutive candles breaking a previous high. We've got on the 1 minute, let's look at this. So on the 1 minute where price breaks back up into the range, we've got one aggressive entry here, this shift, this fair value gap, another shift here. So this run has a mitigation, no tag. We also have this break above this previous buy side, leaving a fair value gap, and order block, lowest down close candle in a consolidation, stop below the low, nice run, back up on the 5 minute, so coming out to the kill zone, there's no fair value, there's one fair value gap here, but it's encapsulating the order block, so I would, the down close candle, so I'm looking at the mean threshold here. It's tested a few times. And stop below the low. And lastly, depending on how late candle that splits, fair value gap, body. So you have a few options there. And targeting the previous buy side, or closing up shop by 2. Alright, let's do it again. Okay, Asia model example. So mark our kill zone. Then we've got our 7 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 8 o'clock. Mark out our sell side, buy side for each session. See at the kill zone, price runs aggressively below internal, fails to go below external for the day. And on the 5 minute, we already reached our target before price retraces here. So let's go down to the 1 minute. Okay, here we go. So 1 minute, price runs the internal, doesn't run the external. Market structure shift. Within the kill zone, we've got our breaker. After the market structure shift, return into the breaker, price moves out. We also, so highest candle in the consolidation before price breaks up, so that's 1. You'd have your aggressive institutional order flow intra-drill here. You would have this fair value gap as a balanced price range concept. So as price moves out, you're looking at this entire leg, and this would be repricing into return, and you're looking at this leg of the candle. So there's a fair value gap here. Yes, there's a body, but that's not relevant in this case. Barely tags it. There is the wick, which splits a fair value gap, which is also fairly good. What I would prefer with a fair value gap that has a run above reprice, or reprice, retest, and then move out, and targeting the previous buy side, which would be up here. And just for funsies, what would be the projected range on the swing preceding the move? Right there. Nice. That's the projection. Okay, let's do it again. So actually that's it. That was literally every day last week with some opportunity with the model. So I do want to share some of my findings on the limitations of the model. So firstly, it's limited in that it's really focused on one time of day, and that time is pretty late in the night. So depending on where you are, how tired you are, it's good and not so good to be in that. The other thing is it can do reversals in the AM or deep retracements. So say for example this move on the Wednesday, if you got the first one, then before 2 a.m. price had not yet gotten up to the final, you could have set it to break even. This one, however, would have been tagged out at break even, and you would not catch a lot of the move. So you have to be mindful that there could be very deep retracement. Same here on this Thursday into Friday. If it was this entry and you're holding for more than the buy side or the projection, you'd have to suffer through a deep retrace. Weekly profiles also matter. So here between the Sunday to Wednesday low, which I guess is basically a Tuesday low because this didn't quite get there, and then a run up on the Friday. And you have to be very mindful of internal versus external liquidity. Days like this, for example, where price will run both sides but then retrace aggressively back in, you have to be very mindful of internal and external liquidity and how that plays in. But yeah, this was good, cool to find, merging of a number of concepts here together. And yeah, let's do it again in another video.